motivation is cool. We need motivation, but there are some flaws to only being driven by motivation. So the number one thing I got with motivation being your only driving factor is that one, most time we think about motivation is an internal versus external factor. So when you're thinking about external motivation, you're thinking about somebody or something from the outside giving you that motivation. So it's like we go on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and we find some celebrity speaker like E.T. or Icky Johnson or something, and we use that for motivation to get us going through our day, which is cool. You feel me? We need that. But at the same time, that can be a tricky game to play, because when you're driven by that, say that person isn't there anymore, or that person isn't posting that day or whatever, how are you going to be motivated now? You know what I mean? If your best friend always got to motivate you to go work out, what if your best friend isn't feeling motivated today? So now you just missing out on motivation, and now you're just not going to work out. Versus being internally driven, where you just got it in yourself to get up and go work out or do whatever your goal is for that day. Number two, with motivation is a feeling, and we all know that feelings can change in a blink of an eye. You know, in the morning you wake up feeling good, somebody say something crazy to you, you're ready to pop off, and now the rest of your day is gone because you change your feelings, your emotions change. And motivation is really just a feeling that we all have, and it comes and goes. You know, you wake up in the morning feeling motivated, and you feeling great. And next thing you know, it's like it's time to get to the gym, or time to actually wake up and go, and you don't go work out because feelings change. And you know how everybody says New Year, New Me. God, New Year, New Me. Think about how it's getting around that time of the year where everybody, you know, get the New Year's Eve resolution. They're talking about New Year, New Me. I'm gonna lose all this weight, or I'm gonna start going to the gym or whatever. And they're feeling motivated right now. As soon as January 1st hit, you know, some people still stick to it a little bit. 2 weeks later, the gym started getting a little less crowded. A month later, February hits, it's a whole lot less crowded. And by March, all the people probably gone. Might have 1 or 2 new people in there because they were just motivated to do whatever they said it was going to do, versus this next level I'm talking about of how you continue with that. So I hate when people just bash things without giving you a better answer or substitute to it. So I'm not just here to bash motivation. As you need it, it's cool, but that next level that you need for real, discipline. I know it's not the sexy thing you probably looking for. It's not the best looking or the best. I can't sell you discipline, you feel me? But I can educate you and inform you on it to where you have the decision now to move to it. So why discipline is so important is just because of the fact that, you know, you look at all the greats that we have, all the greats that we look up to, the celebrities, whoever, they are all, you know, the elites that we follow, the Kobe's, as you can see, the Kobe's that we love, the Jordans, the whoever, they weren't just motivated day in and day out. They had discipline to keep them there. They knew that to get to a certain point, they had to be disciplined. In order to stay at that point, they had to be disciplined versus just motivated, you know. So if we can figure out how to get our discipline and like stay on that level of discipline and like not just be here, but go to our next level, and that next level that we want to get to, that's who we separate ourselves. You know, you say you start hooping in middle school, right? So hooping in middle school, you got a certain level of talent, and, you know, you might be the best in your school or whatever, but you hit high school ball, it's like, oh snap, like that talent level is a little bit different there. So whatever you thought separated you at first isn't the same. So you might be the most athletic and the strongest person in middle school. Then you hit high school, everybody just as strong and athletic as you. So now what separates you? Then you go from high school to college, it's like, oh snap, everybody's just as tall as me, everybody can shoot just as well as me. So what's the next thing that's gonna separate you? So each level you go up to, the talent pool isn't the same anymore. But now you separate yourself by being more disciplined. That's what Kobe stands out, because Jordan and LeBron were clearly more athletic, but he was so disciplined to work on his footwork, to work on his shot, to work on his skills, to where he couldn't be left out of the conversation of the GOAT. And yeah, he might not have been the most, he probably was the most talented in high school, but he got to the league and it's like he's not the most talented anymore. His discipline was separating him. He said it was so easy for him to train and get better because everybody else wasn't working like he was. He was more disciplined than everybody else. So I keep that in my mind when I'm going out in new ventures and doing new things. So we all have to realize that when we level up and get new places, that the talent that we had isn't going to isn't going to keep us there. You know what I mean? So you get to a point where you might be 6'5", 250, and the most athletic, biggest, strongest thing in middle school, or not middle school, but high school, and then you get to college, and everybody's just looking just like you. But because you relied on what you had at this level of talent to maintain you on this next level, now you're looking bad. And now you're trying to search for motivation to get yourself at that advantage or that edge again, but it's not there because you don't have discipline. So again, being disciplined will separate you from so many people and being able to, get yourself back out there. So discipline is also very important just because of the fact that we all lack, you feel me? We all have, we all got some laziness to us. We all got some stubbornness to us. We're all unfocused. We all insecure. We all deal with that. But if you're able to be disciplined and overcome those feelings and emotions, you'll be able to separate yourself to a whole other level just because of the fact that we all dealing with this issue, but because I'm able to take that one next step, I'm separating myself now. So if it's me and 10 other people and we all in here have a certain level of laziness, because I took that next step over and I just woke up a little bit early because I made sure I worked out one more time, that separated me from the other 10. So I don't have to be amazingly great. I have to be a little bit better than that person next to me. I have to be a little more disciplined than that person next to me. So when you start peeking into that next level, so you're going from middle school to high school, then you better than all the 8th graders here, but there's some 8th grader across town that's kicking your butt because he a little more disciplined. He waking up every single morning, training and working out when you wake up when you want to, when you feel like it, because you're motivated that day versus the next day you're not motivated. But he don't care about motivation. He's disciplined every single day. He's going and working out regardless. So he's getting that edge over you now because you're motivated when he's disciplined. So that's why I treat discipline a little bit higher than just motivation. You think about today's day and time when everything is customized and everything's like Burger King, you gotta have it your way. When you're not able to have things go your way, how are you going to react then? When you're not having things that are going to go in your favor, how do you act now? So it's easy to be motivated when it's summertime and it feels good outside, and you can wake up whenever you want to. You can wake up at 8, 9 o'clock and go train or go run or whatever. Now it's about to be wintertime and it's going to be a little bit darker, a little bit colder. How do you react now? So how do you react when it's easy to play well, when everybody's meshing well and you got any issues or nothing, when the team's clicking? But when you got team issues and you lost 2 or 3 in a row and you're not used to losing, or you got a bad ankle, how do you react now? Are you going to be disciplined and focused and keep pushing through? Or are you going to be not motivated and go off the feelings of, are we losing right now, so it doesn't matter as much right now? But the great teams and the great players that we all have, they all overcome that. The great teams, the one that we all look up to, the ones that win the championship, they overcome those stretches and bad periods of times that they have. Overcome that, become the great teams that we all love and admire. So their discipline through those rough times is what separates them from everybody else. That's why they're able to last during the whole regular season, and the playoffs, to make it to the championship, to be the champions, and to separate them. So that's the edge that they have, to being more disciplined. Sometimes people throw these words out there, but don't really explain what it is. So discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite the temptations to abandon it. So if you're going off that definition, I really like the second part where it's saying the ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite the temptation to abandon it. So if you're saying you want to play college ball, right? And you're feeling motivated to go work out every single day, you see discipline to work out every single day, you're chasing that goal, you're chasing that dream, and you're doing what's required for you to get there, versus the kid that's just motivated here and there. They're not consistent with it because they're not disciplined with it. So that's why I'm not a big fan of only being motivated, just because motivation is fickle. It's just like a wave. It's like water. It's here and there. It's not as stable. But discipline is like a rock solid, a concrete thing. It's not, discipline is required for you to have any feelings. It's what needs to be done. You feel me? So the kind of breakdown I see of discipline as being is like you are able to sacrifice, it's diligent work, and self-awareness. So sacrifice, diligent work, self-awareness. The three things that I could like give my bootleg definition of what discipline is, it'll be those three things. Delaying gratification is a huge part of discipline too. We get into all three. So sacrifice is basically like giving up wants versus needs. You feel me? So sticking on the health note, you feel me? So you want to lose weight, you got to sacrifice staying up late. You know, having great sleep is a huge part of having that healthy lifestyle, of losing weight, because you can burn some fat or whatever. Your body's restoring and resting, recovering from that day because you got a good night's sleep. You giving up a couple of them sweets and candies that you like is a big part of it too. Sacrificing a couple nights with friends, or sacrificing time with sometimes family, feel me? Sometimes that family time has to cut down just because you have to be focused and disciplined to your goal. So that's a tough thing to do, tough thing to deal with, but when you're able to sacrifice the right things at the right times, it's gonna be worth it in the long run. So that's kind of a touchy thing for some people because they're big on family time. I'm not against family time at all, but you have to know what sacrifice is for you. So a sacrifice for me versus for somebody else will be totally different. So me getting up at 5 in the morning is nothing. For somebody else, it's a big sacrifice. For me, going to work out 5 times, 6 times a day, six times a week, be totally different from somebody else. They have to work out 3 times a week. So sacrifice isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. It's a person-to-person thing. But once you get into a team setting, you have to like recalculate and recalibrate how we sacrifice. So you're giving up something for your brother or your sister versus just for you. So I might sacrifice points to make sure he's a little bit better scorer than me, or he needs to score right now, so I'm sacrificing my points to make sure he can eat. Or I'm not going to rebound the ball as much. I'm going to just focus on getting back on defense. And I'm going to let the bigs get the ball. So like sacrificing isn't all one thing. We all sacrificing points. Somebody has to score the ball, so we can't all say we all going to score 5 points. Somebody has to score 20, I can score 15, they can score 12. So it's just sacrificing to whatever, like I said about discipline, whatever meets the requirement to get to our goal. So that's why sacrifice is under that definition for discipline for me. Diligent work. Once I read this book, and it's talking about diligent work versus hard work. And diligent work is basically, when we think of hard work, we think of Kobe, right? We're working out 6 hours a day and blackout, all this stuff that Kobe was just phenomenally known for. And that's cool. Like, I'm not trying to work like Kobe though, because I can't do that. I'm focused on diligent work to where maybe if I just did like really deep and focused work for 4 hours every single day, or 3 hours or 2 hours, whatever it is for me, diligently. So I mean, I'm doing that as best as I can, as focused as I can, as often as I need to do, then I won't have to worry about the back end of it. So I don't have to do 10 hours every single day if I'm doing a good solid 4 hours. So diligent work is being consistent, being concise, and being effective basically. So being able to, some people say they train for 3 hours at a time, but it's like, what if you didn't have to train 3 hours? What if you only train an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours? Now you got an hour to rest and chill, or you don't have to, drain your body. You can actually go chill out with your friends, or go play video games or something now. So that's why I'm big on diligent work. And if you're able to do that, do diligent work with discipline, now you're able to really separate yourself because you're getting quality work every single day. Think about how great you can be after a while. The last one is self-awareness. Like I said before, with sacrifice, is you being self-aware of what you need to give up and what you need to do. So my discipline and sacrifice will be different from yours. And so with that, I have to be self-aware to what that means for me versus what that means for you. So just being aware of yourself and knowing what to sacrifice and how to give it up, because everybody's not the same. It's not a one size fits all. It's going to be different across the board. So just realizing how to know what you're disciplined in, and at the same time knowing how to be disciplined. So it's like if everybody on the team and sacrifice, like I said before, everybody on the team sacrificing points, it doesn't make sense. Because if I know that if I'm Draymond Green, I'm not sacrificing my assists for Klay Thompson. I'm sacrificing my points for Klay Thompson. I understand what makes Klay great. I understand what makes me great. Klay Thompson is the best shooter in the game. I'm not going to sit back and say, hey, man, pass me the ball so I can shoot. Like, nah, Klay, you be great, and I pass you the ball, and you go shoot, and I get my assists, you get your points, and we're all going to be great. And I'm going to be disciplined with that, too. And not going to say one game, I'm going to come out, hey, Klay, let me get a couple shots up. Like, the goal is to win the game, and the goal is to win the championship. The most effective and efficient way is for us to be disciplined on my role, knowing my role and what I do for the team. So if I'm going to sit here and get 8 assists every game getting 8 assists. Klay's going to get his 8 threes, I'm going to get my 8 assists. However we're going to make this work, make it work. I'm going to be disciplined with that. So 82 games of the year, that's the game plan. So we have to be self-aware within ourselves to know what our role is and how to be diligent with that, how to sacrifice within that. So now we're being more disciplined with that to get to the end goal of the championship, not just in basketball and sports, but in life too. That was kind of corny, but it kind of fits, so I just said it. The other part of discipline is delaying gratification. And a lot of people struggle with that just because delaying gratification is like basically kind of goes back to sacrifice. You have to give up the wants for right now to know the end goal and the long-term plan of what you're going after. And so it's like, for me in business, I'm sacrificing a lot of L's right now in the front end to know in the back end, I'm gonna win on the long term. I'm taking hits on payments from clients. I'm taking hits on gym time. I'm taking hits on driving long distance. I'm probably driving further than any of my clients have to, you feel me, to get to the gym session. It's just knowing that short term, I'm probably taking a lot of hits, a lot of L's, but long term, I'm going to win in the end game. And so that's basically what delaying gratification is. And so we have to figure out what that means for each person. So I'm able to take these hits right now. I'm aware of that. I'm taking a lot of L's right now. I'm not winning financially right now. I'm taking a lot of hits in personal life too, to make sure, because I know long-term business is going to pay off. It's going to pay off for me. So being able to delay gratification now and say, I'm winning right now, is going to pay off long term. And so for you, you have to figure out what that is for you. So you might be struggling right now with, being just insecure a little bit right now because you're the only one getting up extra shots before and after practice. You're the only one that's, running extra or getting up, doing something that's different, just being a little different compared to everybody else. You have to delay this short-term pleasure or the short-term wants to be mentally tough, to know that being disciplined long-term is going to pay off. So getting up shots and you changing your form right now, you might take a couple of L's because you're not making as many shots. But a year, 2 years, 3 years later, it's going to pay off because your form is a lot better now. It's a lot more effective and efficient versus, I'm making shots right now with this bad form, so I'm going to keep shooting. It's not going to work for you long term. So being able to delay gratification is a big role in discipline because you're taking the L's right now for knowing that long term is going to pay off for you. So the last step is how to basically get discipline. Like I said before, just being self-aware of what you want and knowing where you're lacking. So knowing that you want to get to play college ball, you have to figure out, okay, where am I at right now in my skill-wise, my development-wise, and where am I lacking? What do I need to get better at and grow in for me to hit that level that I'm looking to? If I'm a little overweight, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm weighing 20 pounds overweight. Where am I lacking? What is causing me to be 20 pounds overweight to where I need to lock in on this so I can get my goal and my target of being this weight or this ideal weight? So the first step is just being self-aware and knowing who you are and where you are, where you're trying to get to and how to get there. Next step is, like I said before, sacrifices. How bad do you really want to go after what you want? So you might say, you want, like going back to the same reference I had before, you want to lose 20 pounds. How bad do you want to lose 20 pounds? Are you willing to sacrifice some of those sweets and cakes that you used to have? Are you willing to sacrifice that 30 minutes of sleep that you used to get? Wake up 30 minutes earlier to go work out, or stay up a little bit later to study a little bit harder to get that A that you wanted? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because some people say they want to sacrifice this, that, and the third, but when it comes time to actually do it, they don't do it. Sacrificing after practice and get up an extra 100 shots. It's not that hard to get up another 100 shots. If you do that cumulatively and you add up over time, it's gonna pay off. Next up is diligent work. And so, looking at diligent work, if you look at the Bible, Jesus had a lot of analogies. He made a lot of references to farming, and I love it because it makes a lot of sense. Because, like I said before, in today's day and age of having your way and things being so instantaneous and so quick and so fast, we're not used to the slow grind and that slow work. Where, think about a farmer, there's nothing I can do to speed up this seed that I just planted. So if I'm planting some apple trees, there's literally nothing I can do to speed this up. I can't say, what if I plant 5 seeds at the same time, will it grow faster? What if I water it, 3 times a day, will it grow faster? There's nothing you can do to speed up that process. So just being up, it's up to you to be diligent with whatever process you're going through. So if you're able to see some of your work and your grinding, that discipline work that you're doing, view it as a farmer, there's literally nothing a farmer can do to make that seed grow any faster. I mean, they do have little stuff that you can use, but that's not the most ethical and probably not the safest thing to do all the time. So I view it as a farmer where they're just like, I can plant this seed now, and I know it's going to take 9 months for it to finally bloom and grow. So during that 9 months, I'm just going to be diligent and keep watering every day, make sure you're getting sunlight every single day, and be disciplined with it. So if you have that same mindset with whatever we're going after, that'll give you a lot more peace about making the work happen. So if you're trying to gain some weight, for me, trying to get in the gym every single day, I can't work out 6 times a day and expect me to, boom, just blow up just like that because I'm working out 6 times a day. That's doing more harm than good. And so figuring out how to be diligent with that work and not overdo it and just know a little bit at a time is going to get you there is how you really become disciplined. Because if you overdo it, now you're just super sore, or you're just overdoing it and you're stressed out more. So now you're not going to be as disciplined with it because you're just stressed out and you're frustrated now. If you have that farmer mentality where it's like, okay, I can do a little bit now, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the next day, and over time, that seed's going to grow. So now you just mentally locked in to be disciplined with it. Now you separating yourself. Versus you being motivated, I don't feel like watering today, so I'm just going to chill. But now you mess up the process of that seed growing. So being able to be disciplined with that will separate you from the other farmers or whoever else in your field, because you're locked in now and you're doing the best things you can to get to your goal, which is have that tree. The next thing for how you get disciplined is your commitment. Being consistent and basically having a plan to get to your goal. If you don't have a plan, you're basically just going to be freestyling it, and you're going to be, like I said, driving off of motivation and focused on like whatever you feel for that day. So if you don't have a detailed plan of how to execute whatever you're going after, so you want to become a better shooter. Every single day I'm going to get up 100 shots, 150 shots. Every week I'm going to get up 1,000 shots. And you're going to sit down and mark, okay, on Monday I got this so I can do 150 shots. On Tuesday I have this so I can get up 200 shots. On Wednesday I'm free so I'm going to get up 100 shots still. Or Thursday I got this. So now you just break it down each time. So every week you get up 1,000 shots now. Versus somebody else just saying, I'm just going to get some shots up after practice today. My homegirl called me, so I'm going to go chill with her for a minute. My folks want me to go over here and do this with them, so I'm going to go do this. And it's like, you're not really planning to be great because now you're not disciplined because you don't have a plan. So now you're going to be inconsistent in your execution because you haven't committed enough to really lock in on it. And the funny part about it is a lot of people have a New Year's resolution, but they don't have a real commitment to it. So that's why you see so many people falling off within 2 seconds of the new year. The New Year, New Me stuff is cool, but why wait until New Year's to really lock in and change yourself? Because I almost fell victim of that. I did fall victim of that a few years ago, and this year I was like, I'm not just this year, but recently I decided just to like initiate a new plan for me. And it's like, why wait until 2022 to do that when I can start right now? So to have those 12 months, I'm gonna have 14 months now to execute this new idea and this new plan and just move forward with it. I'm become bigger on like just executing in the moment and commit to doing something now and figuring out the rest later. A lot of people don't see the back end of it. Like I said, delaying gratification. A lot of people don't see the work that you're putting in sometimes, but that's cool. Like everybody doesn't see the seed growing on the ground. Doesn't mean the seed's not growing. It means it's not developing. So you have to commit to yourself and end up having a plan for how to execute whatever your goal is and being disciplined to get to that goal. And the last part, which is really, I don't want to say the most important, but it's very important, is your environment. So who you're around and what you're around, what you're feeding yourself is huge on how to stay disciplined. So if you say you want to get up shots right, and you have somebody around you that's like, man, what you getting up extra shots for, man? You already can shoot. You already good enough. It's like, now they're capping you. Not capping, but capping as far as your limit. They're limiting you to where, how far you can go. But if you have somebody that's always pushing you, saying, man, go ahead and get some extra shots up, man, I bet you can get 150 up. So now that environment is challenging you, pushing you to grow even more. Or if you're trying to lose weight and people are trying to force you to eat more junk food, you always eating fast food every day, and you always getting pizza and stuff that's unhealthy, and it's like that environment's not helping you grow to be disciplined towards your goal. But now you get another environment where everybody around you is disciplined, everybody around you is working hard or diligently, everybody around you is playing it smart. Now you have no choice but to level up and be around the smart, that right group, because that environment is changing you. And this is post I keep thinking about, man. It's like if you hang around 5 rich people, you end up being a 6. If you hang around 5 broke people, you end up being a 6 one. And it just goes on with little stuff like that. So it's like the environment is a huge part of being disciplined, getting to your goal. Because I don't care how strong-minded you are, I don't care how strong-willed you are, it's tough for you to outdo and grow bigger in your environment sometimes. I don't care how tough you may seem like you want to be, but if everything around you is just negative as far as not feeding you towards your goal, it's hard for you to stay disciplined. You're going to slip up a lot of times. But it's a lot easier when everybody around you in that environment is greater for you to grow. Same thing with the seeds and planting analogy I had before. The farmer that has the good soil, he's going to grow a lot better than the farmer who has their seed. Like right now, it's wintertime, that's the best time to grow a lot of crops. But if you're going during the summertime or during the springtime, it's the best time, it's the best environment for that seed to thrive and be productive, versus wintertime and fall when a lot of crops will die. So being in that right environment is really a huge game changer, just because there's a lot of subconscious stuff that happens with being in the right environment. So it's like if you want to be a great shooter, go hang around other great shooters. Their work ethic, their mindset towards shooting the ball is different than the average person. So the play's mindset of how to shoot the ball, Dane's mindset of how to shoot the ball is totally different from Draymond Green. Draymond Green sees the game from a playmaker, a coach's perspective of how to get everybody involved in. So you might see, he catch the ball at the top of the key, he's looking for the best pass and how to get somebody else set up. The play catch, he's had nothing on his mind but shooting the ball. That's literally all he thinks about. So those two different environments aren't good or bad, but if I'm a shooter, I'm not hanging around Draymond because that's not the environment to be around to grow and thrive in. And you hang around the Clays, the Dames, the Stephs, you hang around the Trae Youngs, because that's the environment that's going to get me what I'm trying to get to. So I don't want to call anything good or bad, but it's just like depending on what you're trying to get to makes it good or bad. So that mindset will rub off on you, and now you're more disciplined in that because you're in that environment of shooters, or you're in that environment of playmakers or defenders, whatever you're trying to get to. So just be aware of your environment will add to that discipline and make sure that you are hitting your goals and being, like everything else I said before, it just adds to that. So that's it, man. Just discipline over motivation. Like discipline will separate you a lot better than motivation will. I'm not trying to bash motivation, but motivation is cool, but it only gets you so far sometimes. So you need discipline over all of that. And it's like discipline will feed you when nothing else will. Because you committed to it and you got a plan to it, it's a little bit easier to follow through on that plan and that goal because I locked in on it. Versus I feel motivated today, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So if you don't feel motivated for another 2 weeks, are you still gonna do that goal? You feel me? So it's just like motivation is cool, but you don't want to live and die for that.